All right. All right, so what I have here is the Chigee AIO-5 Android / Apple CarPlay head unit that goes on the motorcycle. My motorcycle is a 2019 KTM 790 Adventure S. I have it mounted on just essentially on the handlebars. So it is below the speedometer and below my CarPlay Eater Android device that I use for GPS. I'm going to turn it on and see what happens. So that is the main home screen. We don't need the coffee thing on. It's going to switch over to Apple CarPlay in a second, so I don't want to talk too much about this. All right, so the options are CarLink, video, meter, and settings. Up here is the speedometer. You have a compass and you have tire pressure monitoring system. In order to get the tire pressure monitoring system working, you need the tire pressure monitoring caps that are sold separately, but I have them on the bike. So that's the tire pressure monitoring system. A little hard to get focused there. There it is. It's just basically a valve cap that syncs to the head unit and sends a signal saying how much pressure is in the tire and the temperature of the tire, which is also helpful. I have them on the bike. So currently you can see my front is at 31 and the rear is at 36. Basically this unit works as an Apple CarPlay or an Android device. So if you're familiar with that, then you're familiar with this system. So I'm just going to set it over to CarPlay and show you how that looks. So you click on CarLink. And now it's connecting to my phone, which is right here, right there. Right, so you can see, basically looks exactly like CarPlay that you would see on a car. You can swipe between pages. And that's the Chigee app that we just came from. I'll go back to it in a bit. So for instance, when I'm riding, I like to use Google Maps. So click on Google Maps, and boom, it's open. I can hit a search. But a recent Pro Cycle in Dartmouth, Nova Scotia.
Head northwest on Nova Scotia 332 East.
There you go. So nothing different than what you would see in your car. So when I'm riding, I have my phone connected to Bluetooth to my helmet, through my Sena helmet, and then the phone is connected to the Chigee, so it basically makes just a connection, a global connection. So I'm essentially listening, I imagine, to my phone, but it's Bluetoothing to the Chigee. And that's basically it. Makes it super easy to see while you're riding. My phone is an iPhone mini, which is quite small and difficult to read clearly. So that's it. That's pretty much it for Apple CarPlay. And as I said, I don't have Android Auto, but I imagine it will look exactly the way Android Auto would look if you were looking at your car. So now the main app, Chigee. Again, you have your CarLink, which we just came from. This is my total mileage, 4,282, because I did a big trip from Nova Scotia to Toronto. It says I was riding for 93 hours, 22 minutes. Definitely take a break, have a coffee. As I said, that's the speedometer, your compass, and your tire pressure monitoring system. In order for the speedometer to work, you need to have an OBD Bluetooth link, which connects to the bike. I do not have that, so in that sense, for me, some of these elements don't actually work for me, like the speedometer. And then when I click over to meter, so this has the RPM and speed and a whole bunch of other different things. It will show me the altitude, my riding time and my trip, battery voltage. I'm not sure if it'll show engine temperature or throttle because, like I said, I'm not connected to Bluetooth to the OBD in the system, so I don't have access to that. I believe if you ride this on a BMW, you can get access to an OBD link, which basically connects to the same wires that when you take your bike to the mechanic, they plug it in and they're able to do a diagnostic. So essentially it goes into that diagnostic port on the bike and then sends that information to the head unit. So that's that. These are the settings. You can have a different background. I keep it on black. Sounds like clicking. You hear that? I don't like that on. Storage, so you can have an internal memory card or an SD memory card. I mean, it always has an internal memory card, and I've added an SD memory card. In fact, if you're going to do an update for software, you need to have an you need to have an SD card installed, which goes in there. It's a mini SD. I'll leave that open for now. You can format either side independently. Features, so obviously you can change your language. I'm not going to change mine. This is your date, your time, sunrise, to show certain elements. It's all very handy. Tire pressure monitoring system. You can set your lowest value and your high value, and if it goes below or above those, then you'll get a notification, and it shows front at 31.3 and the rear at 36.5 right now. You can go between PSI or bar, and you can go between Fahrenheit and Celsius. And if you wanted to change your high values or your low values, you would just do it here. So that's that. Headset. So like I said, I have it linked to my Sena helmet, to my Sena system on my helmet. This is for pairing that OBD unit that I was talking about, that would get access to your bike's data, the same stuff that you would have if you were at the shop, that they would download that information about the diagnostics. GPS. So there's a small GPS unit on the side of the bike that when you install, you stick in. I will show you that in a minute. This is the GPS unit. That is part of the Chigee system, and it's wired into the bike. There's something called blind spot detection. So this bike, or this Chigee AIO-5 has a front and rear camera, which is great because it will give you blind spot detection. So here's where you would set it up and calibrate it, different speed settings, camera switching, that kind of thing. Very handy. I can't honestly say that I've got it fully set up yet, but the cameras are there and it is recording. And it will record if there's an accident or an incident, it will lock in that footage, so you'll have access to that. If you wanted to update, this is where you would do the update, but I'm already updated. What else? This is where you would do the downloading of new software. Tutorial, you have access to the information, reset it, reset the unit, about, just tells you about it, more, kilometers, miles, rest reminders. I don't like the rest reminder. That's the telling me to stop for a coffee. So that's basically the unit. It's pretty awesome. I'll show you the video. So right now, this is the front camera and this is the rear camera, and it's still showing my tire pressure monitoring system front and rear. It's recording now. It's set to record all the time. As long as the red light is flashing, it's recording. So that is the unit. So for power, it's hardwired to the battery, which it's at right now. But when you turn off the unit, you get this. Oh, try not to blur too much. So the power stays on for about 10 seconds. And then turns off to protect the battery. And that's everything.
Recording.
All right, so leaving Montreal, heading towards Fredericton today, where I imagine I will sleep, give or take. And then in the morning tomorrow, I will take the ferry from St. John to Digby to save about a 3.5 hour ride, which is just a horror show. However, I have to be there at 8 a.m. tomorrow, and I have an 8-hour ride right now to Fredericton. But it's 7 a.m., so got a lot of time. So everything hopefully should be cool. And I think I'm missing the morning commute into Montreal as I'm leaving towards Quebec City. And it's another balmy 60 degrees today. Hopefully it doesn't rain.